Hello and welcome back to Woodworking Monetized, where woodworking doesn't have to be another expensive hobby. And in this episode 6, we are going to make 2 folding picnic tables. Alright, let's get started. So, the reason why I used 2x6s is because the whole structure, all the structure pieces are odd dimensions. They are all 1 1/4 inches thick by 2 1/4 inches wide. So if you use a 2x6, you can rip it down and get 2 pieces out of one 2x6. So again, this is the setup for the back seat in the picnic bench. And the reason why I call it back seat is when it's folded up in picnic bench form, this structure holds the back 2 cedar slats of the 4 slats that make up the entire picnic bench seat. So these are the 2 cross pieces. We'll move those out of the way. The back leg of the back seat is 19 3/4 inches in length with 20-degree angles on the bottom and the top. And the front leg of the back seat is 21 inches in length with 31.6-degree angles on the top and the bottom. And I have a 2.5 inch spacer right here. Doesn't have to be exactly 2.5 inches, but close to it. Then I've got the top brace and the bottom brace. The bottom brace on mine measures 20.5 inches in length with a back angle of 20 degrees and a front angle of 31.6 degrees. Now I've got mine at about 4 or 5 inches from the bottom of the legs, but you can change it how you'd like it as long as it stays below about 8 inches. It should be fine. So again, this should line up nicely. The top brace is 13 inches in length with a 20-degree angle on the back, and right now it is 90 degrees on the front. We will round this with our jigsaw and create a cavity with our 1 1/4 inch Forstner bit, which will allow us to thread through a carriage bolt with a hex nut on this side. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to take this piece and the other top cross piece on the back seat and make our Forstner bit cavities as close as we can to being exactly the same, so we don't have any issues later on. So that's the first order of business. So our hole is going to be in from the 90-degree angle 1 1/4 inches, and then halfway, which is 1 1/8. So that's where we're going to create our pilot hole. So looking at the one side of this back piece, we're going to add another piece here. It has a 14-degree back angle to it. It is 13.5 inches long, and then we've got a 90-degree angle here, which we will round off like we did this one, and it will accept the carriage bolt through. So we have to drill a Forstner. We have to drill with our 1 1/4 inch Forstner bit right here, and then we'll have the hex nut here. So I'm going to clamp it on after I round it over. I'm going to clamp it on and drill through so it sets up and aligns. Also, we'll have 2 of them, one for the other side, and we have to remember to do the mirror image of the other one. So on this one, we've got it on the left side when looking at it, and the other one, it will have to be on the right side. So I'm going to line it up. So my 14-degree angle is opposite of the 20-degree angle on the back part of the back bench. Line it up, and I'll clamp it and find the 3/8 inch drill bit and drill through, and then add the Forstner 1 1/4 inch Forstner bit cavity for the other washer and carriage bolt and nut. So I've got the new piece clamped on. I've turned it the other way, and we're going to take our 3/8 inch drill bit again and drill through, making sure it's the same hole in the same spot. So these are the 2 back seats of the picnic bench, and now we just have to add 2 cedar slats and with support below it. Eventually, once they're at the right distance, they'll both fold up and hold the tabletop that way. So let's get started on ripping the cedar slats and cutting them to length. Alright, so I have these 2 pieces clamped up, and notice that it's not on the outside one because that one's obviously going to move up and hold the tabletop, but it's on the original one that's attached to the 2 legs. If I turn all the way around here, you can see that it's flush right with that bottom piece here, and then as well on the other side it is flush with this. So we're going to screw into this piece on both of the table legs, or the top brace, the original. So these are my 18-inch supports down below, cut at 45 degrees. I've pre-drilled them, and we're going to attach them underneath here. So these are the 2 tabletop braces. They are each 18 inches long. They will have a carriage bolt going through at 6 3/4 of an inch from the front. What I've done here is I've clamped them together. I'm going to take just a small drill bit and drill through the entire piece of both of the braces, and then I'm going to take a Forstner bit and go through the depth of the Forstner bit on one side, and then I'm going to flip it over and do the depth of the Forstner bit on the other side, and then I'm going to take the drill bit and drill through the entire piece so that I know that both of these are at the exact same location, which is what I should have done with the back seat of the picnic bench. You'll live, you learn. All right, so thank you people for staying with me. I'll try to explain this the best I can. This is one of the 4 tabletop and back slats. It's the bottom piece, which will sit and rest at the end right here. It will be attached on either side to my 18-inch tabletop brace with the Forstner bit 6 3/4 inch from the top. It will be both attached to the slats, and it will also be attached to this moving piece that we attached earlier. It will be sitting at this angle of this piece so it is flush. But prior to screwing these tabletop braces into this moving piece, I want to attach at least this last tabletop slat to the tabletop braces first. Then once it's attached, I will attach this to the moving piece to give it extra support while we move on to the next step. So once you have it fitted on both sides of the movable pieces here, you want to just pull this up a little bit so there's more room and access for these 2 screws to attach to this back brace here. So I just lifted it up just a slight smidge, and you can feel it being also flush to the back slat as well before you screw these in on the side here. So again, I've moved this piece up just a little bit on both sides. So here are the 36-inch legs. On one side we have our 3/8 of an inch hole, and I clamped them together to make the hole exact in the same spot. And on the other side we have our 35-degree angled leg that we will attach. These are the 2 arm braces. They are the mirror image of each other. These are the horizontal pieces of the arm brace, and this is the vertical piece of the arm brace. The vertical piece is 15 inches long with a top angle of 22.5 degrees and a bottom angle of 31.6 degrees. The horizontal brace is 16 inches long with a back angle of just 5 degrees and a front angle of 22.5 degrees. So they'll go on the top. The vertical piece will go on the top, and making sure that it's flush on the vertical side and on the horizontal side. So now that I have the brace, the vertical brace and the horizontal brace attached here and flush on the sides and the top, now we're going to screw it in to the bottom right here, which I've already done, and on the inside of the arm. So we've attached it right here on the bottom of the leg, and then it's already been attached to the vertical. The vertical and the horizontal arm brace are already attached and flush, both horizontally or vertically and horizontally. And then if you run down here, I'm going to attach it on the inside here, and there's not a whole lot of room You want to have a little bit of a gap too, as this will rotate across the top of it when it's in table form. So I've got it clamped there, and I'm going to pre-drill and screw in, being careful not to go too far out to the edge, because I also want that gap, but I don't want the wood to split. This is the other seat brace. There's two of them. The top horizontal piece is 12 inches long with a back angle of 35 degrees, and the vertical piece is 9 inches long with a top angle of 34 degrees and a bottom angle of 20 degrees. And when placed on the inside of the leg and the arm brace, this 35-degree angle should be close to flush with this back part of the leg, and then this 20-degree angle should be flush with this part of the back part of the leg. Now, the only thing you have to pay attention to is making sure that it is level. That's why I have one of these. Making sure it's level, clamping it, and making sure that this piece sits a little bit proud of the existing piece that's already here. So it has to sit a little bit proud. So I'm going to clamp it, find the spot, clamp it, and then drill these screws in. So you're going to want to pre-drill these last two cedar slats first, otherwise it's going to be a little bit difficult to attach these two pieces. Line them up as best you can. Not much room. If you want to make room, you can always extend those braces if you'd like. But I've never seen anything really expand. It's always as wet as it's going to be as far as cedar slats go. So there they are. And now so I cut this down to 30 inches. It's just inside, or just short of the inside legs there. Even though it is attaching to the outside part here, it still has to be within there, just so there's no issues. So I'm going to get that underneath halfway on each of these, so it gives extra support. So now I have these two diagonal braces. They are just under 11 inches long, and we're going to add them on the front seat brace here and underneath the front seat slats, like so. They're both cut at 45 degrees. I've got them pre-drilled already. Again, they're just under 11 inches. Alright, so the last thing to do is the arm pieces. So I'm going to measure this out, and it measures just under 11 inches, so I'm going to go to 10 inches. I'm going to cut this to 10 inches just to leave a little bit of a gap here for when you open and close it, so it doesn't hit against this and prevent it from closing. Again, this is a piece of wood that is 2.5 inches, because it's the thickness of both of these two pieces here, so which is 1.25 inches. So 2.5. So it's going to be 2.5 inches wide by about 10 inches in depth.
Not this time.
Thanks for sticking with me through episode 6. At the end of episode 5, we were left with $800. That was high because I wanted to buy a cabinet table saw. Obviously, you could spend less than $600 on a table saw, but that's the one I chose. When you add up that, the level, the drill extension, and the ratchet and socket, that's $643. Then when I add up all the materials for these two tables, the cedar slats and the 2x6s, plus all the hardware and the thread lock and the red paint, that's $122. When you add up those two things, it's $765. Subtracted from the $800, that leaves us with $35. Now I intended on selling this table for $180, but it looks like it'll sell better at $160, and then this one that's not painted for $140. If you were going to do it, or if I was going to do it again, I probably wouldn't paint either of them and sell them at the lower price point. But when we add those two up onto the $35 that I have left over, that leaves us with $335 for episode 7. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and hopefully we'll see you on the next one. Thanks.